Hello everyone, this is Dan Gramza and welcome to dangramza.com Market Studies for Monday, January 15th. Monday is Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday, so it's a holiday. We're going to have some shortened sessions. Stock indices and interest rates will close at noon. Metals and energy 1:30. Forex will close at 4. Everything opens up again at 5 o'clock Chicago time on Monday for a Tuesday trade date. So, what about the S&P here? Before we get into that, we had a lot of fundamentals coming out. We had PPI coming out. That was down 0.1% in December. There are a lot of things surrounding that, but we won't go through all that. We did that in the advanced video. The JP Morgan Chase had the most profitable year ever with $9.3 billion of net income for the fourth quarter versus being down 15% in the fourth quarter in 2022. Bank of America, their fourth quarter earnings were down, and we have a U.S. budget deficit that's growing, which isn't too much of a surprise. Now, let's go back here to this chart. If you haven't looked at these before, we're looking at daily charts. They're in a Japanese candle format. And what we're also looking at are these red and green lines. The green represents a buy level. Red represents a sell level. If you see a dashed line like you see here, it's something that occurred over the last few days. So the difference between this buy level to that sell level, for example, in the mini S&P 500 is $1,250 a contract. These are not buy and sell recommendations, just ideas that I'd like to share with you. But let's also look at how did we finish up this theme that I'm going to mention to you. Is going to run through the markets that we're going to look at, and the theme for Friday was balance. With all the numbers that we had coming out, the expectation for the S&P and other markets was a directional play, because that they would reach a conclusion what they think the Fed's going to be doing. Here, very neutral. That little green line you see there is the close. So you see shadows on both sides. It implies a market that did not make a commitment to direction, which is very interesting as we go into a holiday weekend. Now let's check out these other markets. Same thing here in the NASDAQ market, very neutral. This dollar value was $4,100 a contract. Over in the Dow, the E-mini Dow, we have a neutral zone trade. That's what I call that. Look for the continuation of a sideways move. And the same thing holds true in the Russell. Oh, the difference between the sell and buy level in that market, $3,650 a contract. Again, neutral zone trade. We're seeing what I call consistency of behavior. The euro in the same boat. We're not seeing any strong bias in terms of direction. It is still a neutral zone trade. The difference between the sell and buy level there was $387.50. In the Swissy, the difference between the buy and sell level in that market was $125 a contract, and again it's in a neutral zone trade. How about that? And look at the Japanese yen. It rallied a bit but couldn't hold on to it. The difference between the sell and buy level in that market, $1,162.50. Also neutral zone trade. It implies the possibility of a down move on Monday. Aussie dollar, also neutral zone trade. Very interesting in terms of structure. British pound, how about that? It's in the same boat. It's neutral going into this weekend. We're not seeing a bias to that market. So it leaves it kind of in a 50-50 situation. Our friends in Canada, the difference between the sell and buy level there, $470 a contract, and again a neutral zone trade. Bitcoin breaks to the downside, but can it follow through? It's had a terrible history recently of a lack of the ability to follow through. So be careful on the short side. The difference between the buy and sell level in that market, $4,025 a contract. 10-year notes. This is a market that as yields came off, this got a bit stronger, but it's also neutral as we go into the weekend. The sell to buy level in that market was $531.25. In the bond market, that difference was $1,062.50. 50 cents. Also a sideways move. Gold, difference between the sell and buy level in that market's $1,000 a contract, and look for a sideways move, an inside type day on Monday. And you know something? Silver's in the same boat. It also implies an inside day on Monday. The difference between the sell and buy level and our friend Mr. Silver is $1,200 a contract. And copper, the difference between the sell and buy level there, $2,500 a contract. Even though it's breaking lower, I like the overall structure. It makes sense. China is not in the marketplace, but it's approaching levels that we found buyers before, so be cautious on the short side. Over here in crude, a big rally but failed to close. Again, it implies a sideways move. That's very bearish, but I don't look for a big day to the downside. The difference between the sell and buy level, $300 a contract. We had a number of rallies and breaks here in nat gas. The difference here between the sell and buy level, 400. This one was $2,100 a contract. I do look for follow through to the upside with the weather that we're seeing here in the United States. Soybeans slowing down. Fundamentals are still bearish, but this looks like a market that's trying to find some hedgers to lock in prices. I feel the same way about corn. It's very cheap right now. And the difference between some of these buying levels, sell levels, is $300 here and $100 right there. Now let's talk about Mr. Wheat in the same boat as we're seeing with these other markets. Very neutral, and there's a lot of wheat out there. The difference between the sell and buy level in that market was $150 a contract. Well, those are my thoughts for today. Hope you found something helpful. We had a lot to go through, so it was a long video, but I hope you, like as I said, I hope you find it helpful. Have a wonderful weekend. Look forward to being with you again on Monday. In the meantime, take care.